Okay, let's make part four. I believe this is. This is our exhaustive guide to buying a house with a mortgage. So now let's talk about the difference between a USDA and an FHA loan. Um, I'll tell you right up front that most people in my world prefer to do as many conventional mortgages as possible. They would rather have buyers who are buying big, expensive houses, and they're buying big, expensive houses with lots of money down, and they're doing conventional mortgages. A conventional mortgage is a little easier for the lender to do than a USDA or an FHA loan. Okay, let's talk about FHA. FHA is a little bit harder than conventional, but it's easier than USDA. The reason I want to tell you that is because if you're not coming to me for your mortgage and you're in a USDA eligible area and you're having USDA eligible income and you have an USDA eligible price for the property, some lenders will still try to put you on a FHA loan just because it's easier for them. You say, how do I know? Well, I don't know. I don't know how you know that, except you can do the research, you can check it out. Here are some of the details. Or you can call me, or heck, you can call me and say, Josh, would this loan qualify for a USDA? Would this house qualify? Would I qualify? Even if you're not going to use me, I'd be glad to help you and tell you that. I did that for a friend recently. They their lender was pushing them into an FHA loan, and they qualified for USDA. Everything fit for USDA, and they ended up doing USDA instead of FHA, and they still went with their lender friend, but or their lender that they had been working with. So long story short, I'm willing to help you. Just call me. Um, let's talk about the difference between USDA and FHA. And at the same time, we need to talk about some reasons that you might have to go FHA instead of USDA. One reason is your credit score is too low to go USDA. USDA, I need your credit score to be 640 or up. There are some weird circumstances where USDA will take a lower credit score. I understand, but I'm not even going to try to mess with those. If you're not 640 or up, it's going to be so hard. It's not going to fit. There's going to be scenarios that will cause that to be a problem for you. So I need your credit score to be 640 and up. If you're between 620 and 640, then FHA might be the better way for you to go. Another reason you might have to go FHA instead of USDA is if you're living in a more city-like area. So ask me about the address, and I will run it through the USDA map and find out if USDA considers that a rural area. And you say, Josh, what did you just say? I said rural. And it's so hard for me to say, and you can't read my lips because the microphone's in front of me, but that's just a hard word for me to say. Rural. But anyway, if it's not in a rural area, you might have to go FHA. Um, if you make too much money, you might have to go FHA. If you're buying at a price point higher than the USDA loan limit, you might have to go FHA. That loan limit last year was $285,000. I think it's moved up a little bit this year, but USDA is going to be it's going to need to be under $300,000, right in that range. Um, Okay, so now let's talk about why USDA is better than FHA. You can do a zero down payment. Seller can pay up to 6% of the price in closing costs, or they can be rolled into the loan if the appraised value allows for it. Let me explain that. You contract to purchase a house for $100,000. The loan closing costs in that scenario happen to be $6,000, which is 6%. And the appraisal comes back at $110,000. Then you can finance $106,000, no problem, and not have to pay any closing costs. However, that appraisal comes back at $100,000. Your purchase price is $100,000. We got to find a way to cover that $6,000, and it cannot roll into the loan amount because the loan amount can only go up to 100% of the appraised value. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, just call me. We'll figure it out. But the seller can pay that $6,000, up to $6,000. They can't pay $7,000 on a $100,000 loan. They can pay up to $6,000. Okay, the payment's going to be lower because you're going to have a smaller monthly factor. It's not private mortgage insurance, but it's like private mortgage insurance. It's a 0.35% factor with USDA, 0.85 with FHA. That's going to make a significant difference in your purchase price. In your monthly payment. The upfront fee is 1% with USDA, where it's 1.75 or 1.85 with FHA. So that makes a big difference. Now you can roll that into the loan amount. So USDA will allow you with an appraised value of $100,000 to have a $101,000 loan, or if it's a $200,000 purchase price and a $200,000 appraisal, they'll allow you to have $202,000 in the mortgage loan, because they will allow you to finance the upfront fee. We've already talked about the credit score. I need it to be 640. I need there to be at least one credit score. And actually, we can do a loan with no credit scores, but in a scenario where we have no credit scores, we're going to need 12-month rental history. We're going to need utility bills. And 12-month rental history is a requirement in that scenario. And it can't be, the last 12 months we lived with mom and dad, and I said I paid $100 a month. That's not going to work. Income, loan, and property restrictions. FHA you can buy anywhere in the U.S. In USDA, it has to be in targeted areas. But listen, lots of areas are targeted. I would say most of the map around here is USDA eligible. There's county income limits. Now that says there's no loan limits on USDA, but I'm pretty sure that's not correct. So ignore that bottom piece of information right there. I think that is wrong. Okay, that's the difference between USDA and FHA. You have more questions, feel free to call me. Of course, there's also conventional, there's also VA, but I was focused on those things in this video. All right, now let's talk about documents and potential challenges to these docs. This is important for you to understand. You need 30 days of pay stubs. Your pay stubs need to be legible. You can take a picture of them with your phone and upload them, but we need to be able to read all the details. We want to know the date that this pay stub was given to you. We need to know the period of time that pay stub was for. Typically, all of this is going to be on your pay stub. We need to know your year-to-date income. We need to look at your overtime. We need to see your bonuses. We need to see everything on that pay stub that's possibly there. Let's talk about bank statements. Bank statements, we need 2 months of your bank statements. This is the bank statements from where your down payment's going to come and from where your reserve's going to come. You say I've got checking, I've got savings, and I've got 3 other bank statements. Well, it's possible we're going to need them all. We may not necessarily need them all. You might have some income you might have some money stored away that we don't even have to know about. But let's talk about all of it, because sometimes just having enough money in reserves is going to make a difference in your ability to buy. It may make a difference in your interest rate too. So tell me about all of your bank statements. When I ask for bank statements for 2 months, I need all pages. Your bank statement may be 8 pages long, and you say, well, I only sent you 7 because the 8th page was blank. Well, probably the 8th page said page 8 down at the bottom or in the top right-hand corner or somewhere. It said page 8, and it said this page is intentionally left blank. But page 7 said page 7 of 8. And when the underwriter sees page 7 of 8, they're going to say, where's page 8? This bank statement's no good. So we need all pages of your bank statements. Let me tell you another problem we run into with bank statements. Most people don't get bank statements mailed to their home anymore. So they have to download the bank statements from their bank portal. And nowadays, when people try to communicate with the internet, they pull out their mobile phone. And let me tell you right now, your mobile phone will not typically, your bank's portal will not allow you to download a PDF of your bank statement on a mobile phone. It just doesn't give you the option for some weird reason. And so if you discover that you can't download the PDFs of your last 2 months' bank statements on your phone, go to a physical computer and see if it'll allow you to do it there. If you can't do it on either place, then you need to go to the bank and ask them to print you 2 months bank statements, and you're going to need a teller to sign. They're going to put their stamp on it and sign that this is an official bank statement. When they print it out there, it sometimes doesn't have the necessary documentation, the information on it that we need. So we need a bank teller to stamp it, sign it, say that it's real. When you download your PDF bank statements, it'll have the URL, it'll have page numbers, it'll tell you how many pages were there. And when you download the bank statements completely and correctly, it should work. You say, I don't know how to download it. Well, it might be that you go in there and you open the PDF and you can choose to print that bank statement. And you say, Josh, but I don't have a printer. I don't even want to waste ink and paper. Why to do that? It's silly. Right. You don't have to do that. Just go click print and then choose print to PDF. And if you print it to a PDF, you can that'll give you the option of saving that PDF. Another thing about bank statements I want you to be aware of is if you send me a 2 months bank statements and there are 14 times on there where your balance went below zero and they had to overdraft from a overdraft account, that's not good. That's a problem. The bank's gonna look at that and go, this person can't manage their money. So what I need you to do starting today, figure out how to stop it. Stop that practice. Don't get into the negative every month and have to fix this. Go ahead and fix it now. Move enough money from your savings account to your checking account so that doesn't happen every month. We need 2 months bank statements with none of those. You say, I've got one and I'm buying the house and it's closing next month. I mean, in 20 days or 30 days. And what am I going to do about it? Well, we might be able to work around a few of those. We might be able to work around a bunch of those, but it's going to take some extra work from you. You're going to have to write letters and explain why you had those overdrafts. So let's be careful. Let's just go ahead and start planning now to not have any more overdrafts on your bank statements. We're going to need 2 years of federal tax returns. Go ahead and save those, download them, print them, put them in your computer, get them ready to where you can send me full tax returns. You say, Josh, there's 72 pages. I know, I need them all. Send them all to me. Put them all in a PDF. It's not too much for an email. If it is too much for an email, upload them to the portal, call me, let's figure it out. But we need 2 full tax returns, federal tax returns. We need a fully executed purchase agreement. So you say to me, Josh, hey, I've got a contract. I need to lock this loan, and here's the purchase agreement. Well, if the sellers haven't signed it, you don't have a fully executed purchase agreement. Make sure you've got all that. Send it to me finished. You say, well, my name on my driver's license says this, and my name on let's get your divorce decree. We need to get child support orders. I've had customers who were trying to buy a house and they owed child support for 4 different children, 4 different parents. Their spouse there were 4 different, not spouse, 4 different baby mothers or baby fathers that they were paying child support to. We got to get those child support orders from the courthouse for all of those statements. Your driver's license needs to have the correct home address on it. It needs to be a valid driver's license or a valid identification card. But you need that, and you need to have the right address on it. Your W-2s need to be legible. We need W-2s from every job that showed up on your tax returns. We need your mortgage statement. If you're purchasing a second house or you already have some investment properties, we're going to need mortgage statements from all of those properties because we got to verify your debt and make sure that you have enough room to make payments. And you say, well, Josh, yeah, I've got 4 other houses mortgaged, but I've also got 4 other leases. Well, then 4 other leases where people are paying me more than the mortgage. Well, then we're going to need those lease agreements. We're going to need you to find a homeowner's insurance for your new home. So all of these things are documents with potential challenges. I wanted to just go over what those potential challenges might be and talk about those things. Let's see. Let me throw out some real life examples here. somebody wasted their appraisal money. They ordered the appraisal themselves. That happened in Asheville for one of my customers. We can do no credit score loans. There's no such thing as a tax avoidance loan. If you don't pay your taxes, that's going to be a challenge. If you've got if it shows up on your credit report that you owe back taxes or you haven't paid property tax, that's going to be a hard one to get overcome. Uh, FHA loans. Our first loan was a FHA loan. We didn't really have much saved. We bought a FHA loan years ago. Um, Eventually, we needed a loan for an investment property. One time, I had to do a, a 403. What was it called? Anyway, it's a loan where you borrowed money to fix the house up and buy the house. Those exist. They're not easy, but we can do those. Um, at some point in my life, we were able to buy a house with cash. I'm not going to go over those last two slides there because the purpose of this video is not to get you to do business with me. I'm just trying to help you prepare to do to buy a house with a mortgage. I'd love for you to do business with me. If you want to contact me, you want to buy a house with a mortgage in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, uh, Virginia, I think I can help you in all of those states. Just give me a call, 828-238-2682. This is my NMLS. It is 205-8562. Hey, thank you for listening to these videos. Have a great rest of your day.